And hopefully we're off here.
Off to the races.
Yes. Who will be the first? Who will be the first?
Maybe
Who
Sassy
will be
Susie.
the first?
If she can find if she gets a notification. Let's see.
Let us see. Let's see when we get rolling here.
Who's winning?
I do see us. I see us.
Oh, that's good.
But we can't.
I'm looking
to
for
access us.
Let's see.
So there, Jenny Pace in the house,
hey,
number
Jenny.
1.
Oh,
so look. Good to see you, Jenny.
Is the volume off on this one? How do we know?
Yeah.
Hi, Jenny. Great to see you. Israel is here. Hooray, hooray. Everybody's here.
Inspire Me 72, G. Antonio.
Me's here. Hello, hello.
Mr. Mission Control in the house.
Mission Control.
Ready for blast off.
Xenomorphet. Good to be here. Good morning, dear. Good morning. Hi, Souls family. Hi, Arrows. Hi, Arrows. I'll just call you Arrows for now to, save myself here from butchering your name. Arrows is pretty cool. I look at like bow and arrows. Carolina Dream. Howdy, girl. How you doing?
Good to see everybody. So it's going to be a crazy busy day. Yeah, and for us too, because we'll be doing another live at noon Central Time with our buddy R. Wayne Steiger, and this is what we're going to be doing over here. Openings, making contact. Today we are joined with Mike and Cindy from Evolutionary. We're talking about the other side. Who knows the realm that everybody talks about but seem to be afraid of in the other world, the death realm.
Yes, bring yourself, bring your friends. We're going to be talking to, the other side. Maybe somebody needs to say something to you.
Oh, they're always looking to talk to you. That's the bottom line. They're always trying to get your attention.
It was wild last time. Wayne has one of those really cool monitor
Spirit ball things.
Spirit ball, and it just went crazy. Oh, there's our KK. Hello. I hope she makes it to the Steiger show, too. I bet you KK would bring some friends.
Absolutely. Oneness in the house, waking up super early 2 days in a row. Yeah, I was a little bit early today, but within our normal schedule, but just felt like, we got to get at them. We got to get at them.
Yes, and from A to Z, hello. Jarmy Vicious, good to see you. Salutations.
Joni Murphy in the house.
Hey, Joni Murphy.
Good to see you.
Good.
So, as always, guys, want to give thanks to everybody that's supporting us with memberships and Patreon. We do exclusives each week. There's so much going on. KKP, good to see you too. Let's just see if we get a few more people in before we start delving into.
Greg. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Greg. That is so kind.
Such a blessing. We appreciate you tremendously.
Thank you.
Again, these times are so challenging for so many people, and more than ever, it seems that life is a roller coaster. It feels like, I don't know, but this is what I'm getting and what we're getting from talking to so many people. It seems like the highs could be pretty high, maybe the highest ever. And then the lows can be, they can be pretty tough. Peter DeMarco, good to see you, brother.
Dragonfly, hello from Michigan. Good to see you. Sylvia. Hello.
Yes, absolutely. Well, guys, this we had to look at several times because we're like, what happened? Pure chaos out of nowhere. Mega landslide and tsunami ripped through Tracy Arm of south of Juneau, Alaska. So I wanted to see exactly where this is, and this is right here. Okay, so what you notice, it's almost directly across from where we had the 8.8. This is all connected, and of course we did a video yesterday talking about Krzysztof Jakowski and what he is seeing, because all of a sudden he got his guides telling him that there was going to be a continental level cataclysm. continental level cataclysm. And so he was very cautious and careful, trying to ascertain what are they talking about. But his guides were again centering in on the area from Japan to Alaska. So yeah, when we see this, I mean, kind of go to bed thinking about what Christoph is seeing and what we've seen throughout the years. And then I awaken, and first thing of news I'm looking at here is a mega landslide and tsunami ripped through Alaska, south of Juneau. What the heck? You know, it just seems like everything's going crazy. I keep feeling like it's going to be more of a September into October peak of craziness. Yet you could see that this is ramping up, and so many people are having intuitions, feelings, visions. You know, a lot of you guys have been leaving comments, you know, saying that, yeah, I awoke to a tsunami vision. Now, some of that could be just simply because that's what we're thinking about, so we're processing it. Doesn't mean, you know, necessarily has to come to pass.
Right,
that
right.
There's anything that big. Now, the blessing with Alaska is the fact that you have, I want to say there's maybe around there's not a lot of people in Alaska, relatively speaking, for the vastness of Alaska. You know, like less than 1 million people in Alaska. And so that's the good part. So you could have a mega landslide and tsunami and nobody gets hurt. You know, if that happened in LA, San Francisco, Seattle, I mean, that's a totally different story. But here you have somebody that was out camping. Early Sunday morning, Sasha Calvi awoke to a roar. I looked out of the tent. I see a massive wave coming, like inches away. Calvi was camping with 2 friends, Billy White and Nick Heilgeist, on Harbor Island, an uninhabited island in Holcomb Bay. It's at the convergence of 2 of the southeast Alaska's most visited fjords, Tracy Arm and Endicott Arm. Calvi, White, and Heilgeist had spent 78 days kayaking the Inside Passage from Washington. Oh my God, what a venture. That's such an undertaking, and wow, so exciting. And obviously these guys, they got skills, guys and gals, whatever it is. Yeah, they have skills to be spending 78 days out there. These 3 hope to spend the final 2 weeks of their trip making their way to Glacier Bay. 5:45 a.m. Sunday, their plans abruptly changed. Calvi scrambled to wake up White and Heilgeist. The 3 are professional guides who've been taking a summer off from leading trips through San Juan Islands. They pitched their tent in the woods far from high tide line. They emerged to find much of their gear had vanished, swept away by the rush of water. Calvi's kayak was floating a quarter-mile offshore. White's kayak rested on a cliff. Heilgeist was in a tree. It was just pure chaos out of nowhere. It was just all gone. As you can see this picture from up there, something was really different and wrong. Miles away, anchored near the entrance of the fjord known as Ford's Terror, Christine Smith saw the water moving backwards, not a good sign. She knew the area well. She'd been taking clients there aboard her small cruise ship, the David B, for nearly 2 decades. On Sunday, she saw the tide quickly rise and fall by roughly 10 feet. When we started seeing the water rising again on what should have been a falling tide, we knew there was something really different and wrong. She reached out to a seismologist she knew, consulted with colleagues at Alaska Earthquake Center and U.S. Geological Survey. She was onto something. Seismometers across North America had rattled just a few minutes before. Honestly, I think of it as the side of the mountain collapsing, said Michael West, Alaska State seismologist. Details of the remote landslide were uncertain in the immediate aftermath, but West said early indications are that a truly impressive amount of rock and debris tumbled down. Tens or hundreds of millions of cubic meters. We're talking about a cube of rock, that is, you know, a couple of football fields on each side. Southeast Alaska has seen a growing number of fatal landslides near populated areas in recent years. But Sunday's landslide was something quite a bit different. Rather than a top layer of soil giving way, in this case, large masses of bedrock came down. when all that rock fell near the end of Tracy Arm, where South Sawyer Glacier reaches tidewater, West said it set off a truly colossal tsunami. One photo taken by Heilgeist after the trio was rescued by a charter yacht shows an island deep in the fjord, scoured of almost all vegetation. That's scary. We'll get better height estimates in the days to come, but even posts floating around on social media make it pretty clear it was at least 100 feet tall in some areas near the source. Again, if this was anywhere near a populated area, it would be absolute complete devastation. The wave continued to resonate for hours, he said, not unlike water sloshing in a bathtub. Even showed up on tidal gauge in Juneau, 75 miles north, and around a few corners with fluctuations of a foot or so, evident several times in the hours after the landslide. Smith, the captain, said she saw downed trees and scoured shorelines as the David B made its way up the Tracy Arm on Monday. Allen Marine Tour boats had to turn around on trips up the fjord on Monday, according to Juneau-based operations manager Stuart McDonald, through nearby Endicott Arm, though nearby Endicott Arm was free of debris. It's a blessing that it happened where there was no people but these three, and they ended up being fine. Scientists are still trying to put together exactly what happened and why, West said. He expects scientists around the world to study the quite rare geological event for years to come. He compared it to a landslide and a 630-foot tsunami that struck Tanfjord, an arm of Ice Bay 65 miles northwest of Yakutat, in 2015, and said Sunday's slide was substantially larger than a landslide and tsunami that struck at Kenai Fords National Park last year. West spotlighted one earlier intriguing piece of evidence, a series of small tremors before the bigger slide. Modest earthquakes, but hundreds of thousands of very small ones. West said this landslide had a very clear precursory sequence, and that is not something we have often observed. Alaskans were lucky the slide happened when it did, West said. It was early in the morning, about 5:30 a.m. local time, so there weren't tour boats or cruise ships in the fjord when the mass of rock fell. That's a blessing. It's hard to imagine that in front of a landslide itself anything would survive. Tsunamis like this won't always be in remote places. West said the incident gives scientists a chance to learn more about massive landslides like Sunday's happen and what havoc they can wreak. We're in the rare position of being able to have these events that don't truly have catastrophic impacts, sometimes just because we can tuck them away in remote places, but they won't always be in remote places. What they do present is a phenomenal opportunity to learn and better understand how these things work. So when it's in Whittier or Seward or Hoonah or Elfin Cove or wherever else, we'll be better prepared for that. As you see a tree and an iceberg floating after the tsunami there. For the kayakers, the episode is a reminder sometimes stuff just happens. A trio was rescued by a charter yacht, the Blackwood, which heard their distress call on maritime radio. A tender fought currents as the kayakers loaded what remained of their belongings onto the vessel. Crew welcomed them with blankets and showers, even taking them up to Tracy Arm to see the damage the tsunami had left behind. Sawyer Island only had one tree left on it, one. For White, the entire experience feels surreal, she said. But she said the group's holding up well. More than a dozen Juneauites reached out to offer housing or logistical support. So very good that nobody was injured. Very ominous. These things do happen in this area. Again, this is where we are looking at. And, I start to look at, big population centers. Here's Seattle. So it's a ways away. But also, we have not seen a lot of energy being dispersed, really, through Cascadia and through the San Andreas in relation to the quake activity. And again, this right here is where that 8.8, or maybe it wasn't that big. Some people don't think it was that big. It was just simply the system giving us some sort of signal with 8.8 as the designated strength. It started out as 8.0 and then they kept upgrading it.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, this is curious. Now, if we go and look at the USGS at this time, 259 quakes they're showing. The biggest is only a 5.0 in this area. If I go all the way out, 5.6 is the biggest quake we have registering in the last 24 hours. What I do notice right now is there's nothing in South America. So, you might look for some energy release there. When we look over here, what are these? This is a 4.0 in the geysers and a 4.0 in San Simeon. Make note of those. Again, it feels like there's a lot of blocked up energy in Cascadia and the San Andreas. And you still have aftershocks coming off, although they are definitely winding down. There's only 9 at this point. I haven't seen single digits before in this area in quite a while. And then, of course, we have the famous diamond area that Ryo Tatsuki spoke about. But if we look to the Polish psychic and what he's picking up now, it seems like it may be centered right where the 8.8 was, or thereabouts, maybe somewhere between there and Japan, if there is that big mega 9.5, 9.6 type of thing that happens. And let's again hope it's not the case.
I know. Let's hope it's not the case. I thought it was really strange how the technology they had was brand new and it was ready to do the measuring. That's what keeps hitting me. It just makes me feel like, oh, how convenient. They have the technology and this just happens to happen, and there happens to be, things going on right before it happens. So
in other words, maybe it's some sort of test?
Yeah, some sort of test. I hate to put it out there, but it looks funny, and we always have to go and ask ourselves, gee, have they ever done any large tests like this before just to test their equipment?
I think they have. I mean, again, we had those, and I still think they're very significant. There was 3.9s that occurred off the coast of, basically off the coast of northeastern Florida. And, they ended up getting attributed to Navy tests and, acknowledged that they were actually explosions. But we saw one of those like over here in a very unusual area too. We've also seen those up around, Delmarva Peninsula area, and even, some odd ones off of Maine at different times that feeling into them feel like it's something military going on. This is really, it's concerning given the environment and everything that's coming out. This is the U.S. Coast Guard here flying over the debris area. And, again, thankfully, all that was there was basically trees and not any real habitation per se, no human habitation, animals, of course. But, again, the animals, they have a tendency to know when something natural is coming, and they'll tend to get out of the area. Again, the technology could catch them if it was technology. Landslide prevents Royal Caribbean ship from visiting its Alaska destination. This was the serenade of the seas. Alaska cruises are a big thing. We automatically think, beautiful, hot, warm weather, but no, Alaska cruises are something that very popular. A lot of people go to look at the just wonderful nature that's out there.
The mosquitoes are like the state bird. I mean, the mosquitoes are huge, but it is beautiful if you can handle being out there in the real wild. It is gorgeous. I went there to visit, and it was like truly a wonderland until we went fishing, and then the mosquitoes came out, and it was raining. But I mean, every other aspect of it was just so beautiful, just to walk down the road and see see the snowfall and the trees and the rugged environment. I absolutely loved it. And yes, Talisha and Janie mentioned that also about our Schumann just being off the charts. It has been crazy, that Schumann. And a lot of people's energy bodies are feeling it too. So that Schumann is just doing something that, I don't know when the last time we've seen it, this huge, but it just keeps going and going and going. And I do feel like in many ways we're also changing our vibration, which can in some cases be very uncomfortable if you're out of balance. So it's going to start pulling you into balance, which can, sometimes it can feel yucky, sometimes it can feel really fabulous. It just depends on where you're at. But I would say the majority of people are going to feel a little bit off. But I do run in, like, sometimes Mike feels really super good and our friend Jane feels really super good. So I can't lump everyone into the same lump of coal.
No, and yeah, when we do look at the Schumann, it's been it's been big active for like 3 days here. Oh, are we getting close to something enormous? Because when you see it like this revving up, yeah, absolutely. And then yet the guides, if you missed yesterday's video, yeah, the guides said that this is, it's been a blessing. It's been an upgrade that humans are getting, kind of a spontaneous upgrade for the work that we've done to this point. Because I do think if we could really understand the chess game going on between the dark matrix and you could say the natural matrix, and those that are aligned with the natural matrix, I think we would see that we're really making it tough on them because of humanity's awakening. Because I think humanity is awakening faster than anticipated and also more people than anticipated. Yet I do see a lot of comments in some places, not in our circles, talking about people really going off in the other direction too. But then that's the divide, that's the bifurcation that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mission Control said Geocentennial flagged the Japanese Trench and the Himalayan zones. That's where we think the next big event will be. Well, we will definitely keep an eye on that. Thank you, Mission Control. And there's our Miss Mary. Okay, the ice cube neutrino field at the South Pole makes me feel they are using this for global earthquakes, etc. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness going on. I mean, a lot. And we look at the Schumann, and that's kind of like Earth's pulse. It's her heartbeat. So we'll have to keep an eye on everything.
Of course, we have HARP up in Alaska, but then we also have something down in the southern Atlantic, in between Antarctica, South America, and Africa, into thin air. He was one of the first ones to point out this strange signal coming from down in that area. And it's definitely a technological signal, and there are military bases down there too. And, it's just like right now there's a bill. Let me see if I have it up over here. I think I do. Yeah. So there's a bill, S-2296, National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. Do you want to know what's in that bill? Let's see. No, I have it. Where is it? There it is. Basically, what's in this bill, it's 1,454 pages, by the way, funding for the Department of Defense and DARPA as well, the DOE, etc. But it includes things like evaluation programs, weather control operations, unmanned aerial systems, drones, artificial intelligence, shape-shifting drones, directed energy, electromagnetic warfare, psychological warfare, microwave systems, microelectronics. Again, this is all in the bill. So it's Bill S-2296. And so, here we have states banning geoengineering and weather control, and then you have a federal bill that is going to mandate more and allocate money, your tax dollars, for it. This is what needs to change.
And look at that golden dome going on there. That's something that kind of gives me the willies, because I think there's going to be a lot folded into the golden dome when it comes to different frequencies, scalar waves, and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Brian, and for your support, and all you guys that support us and encourage us, and keep pushing us to keep going forward with this, because sometimes it does feel like you stick your neck out in more ways than one. So in 1958, this was a little bit north of what we just saw. You had the Lituya Bay earthquake. This occurred July 9th, 1958. And with a magnitude of 7.8 to 8.3, this was a strike-slip earthquake that took place on the Fairweather Fault and triggered a rock slide of 30 million cubic meters. And it was massive. Again, the impact was heard 50 miles away. Sudden displacement of water resulted in a mega tsunami that washed out trees to a maximum elevation of 1,719 feet. Holy crap. What if you had, and I don't know the logistics of something like that occurring somewhere closer to, let's say, Seattle or Vancouver, where we have like some of our dearest friends in this area. It's just, I don't know, what's possible truly. I mean, they give us a 9.0 to 9.5 when we talk about the Cascadian megaquake of 1700. Again, we could just take that with a grain of salt, as we don't really know. The 8.7 and 9.2 is what Bing's AI is giving us. And, it did have a tsunami. It sent a tsunami all across the Pacific. It took lives over on the other side of the Pacific. Wiped out whole Indian tribes, Native American tribes. So, again, the Pacific Northwest, I think a lot of natural beauty, and there are some hazards, but it's not just the Pacific Northwest. It's Chattanooga, Tennessee, historic flooding. You're just seeing this all over the place. Here you go. This person, my experience with the flash flooding in Chattanooga, luckily I was on a hill the entire time. I still don't understand how it can flood on top of a hill. 6.5 inches in 1 hour, keeps going. 3 people lost. Three people died. 1 is lost, missing. The missing person did not realize how deep the water was and got swept away. Never ever take chances in these extreme situations, which you might not know is extreme until, unfortunately, after the fact. So, there you go. More flooding and then more wildfires. Wildfires scorched Greece, second day in a row. Thousands evacuated. We saw big fires in Greece. I want to say the last 3 years we've seen what seem to be record fires. Burning houses, farms, factories. It always seems they have a way to hit the supply of food, and it's just par for the course, or energy. Mm-hmm. Dozens of people have been taken to the hospital suffering from smoke inhalation since Tuesday. 13 firefighters treated for burns and other injuries. 5,000 firefighters assisted by how many aircraft, guys? 33 aircraft.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Why not 34? Why not 32? Why does it have to be 33 aircraft?
Yeah. It's pretty weird, those numbers there. I've been seeing 33 a lot lately.
Yeah, I mean, again, when we realize the scoop of things and the fact that there are people that understand exactly what's going on, because they've been initiated into the system. And so for them, this is all encoding. And it could be, how to react, and, you've been given phrases to say. We've seen that. Politicians will come out and they'll all say the exact same phrase, word for word, all at the same time, all over the world.
Or they'll say something that makes absolutely no sense and just there's no rhyme, no reason for it, when everybody's questioning, what did they just say? Yeah, I've seen that before too.
So, Greg, you're in Chattanooga. Yeah, a lot of family up in Tennessee too. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of harp-like installations around the world. Again, we just we're always thinking a harp that's only in Alaska, and yet the reality is there's all sorts of technology, and there's technology not just located on land in various places that you might not expect. We've gotten from the guides too. There's vast segments of land that is not mapped in this day and age, and it's not mapped on purpose because, again, there's a lot that they are hiding from humanity, and also the fact that there are ultra-terrestrials amongst us. 33 aircraft here. Yeah, okay, I get you. Moderate to strong atmospheric river to impact the Pacific Northwest and southern British Columbia. So obviously that can bring a lot of water into the situation, which again can change the dynamics when we're talking about earthquakes. And there's even been studies done that show that the likelihood of earthquake goes up when you're saturated, when the ground is saturated, because 1 gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. So when you think about the type of inundations that we've seen, that's a lot of weight going to areas that didn't have that weight. So it could, of course, tip things, so to speak. And then, of course, you have what's going to cause the likelihood of a landslide to go up. Certainly, if you have an atmospheric river event, that's going to increase that too. Meanwhile, in New Mexico, holy cow, they had a dust storm that turned daytime like this into nighttime like that. I mean, look at this. It looked like this. The dust storm comes, and then it looks like that. Can you imagine how ominous that would feel if you didn't have weather forecasters telling you? And even with them telling you, it still feels ominous.
That's pretty rough. Looking at that, I can't imagine. That just seems so wild. I mean, really, is that what our 3 days of darkness is going to look like if it's not having to do with communications?
Lots of thoughts on the 3 days of darkness. Is it just technology? Is it just a blackout so they install a new system, especially an economic system in place? Is it something different? Could it be a massive impact? Could it be volcanoes? I really feel we're going to have a rapid cooling going on the planet. And again, the volcanoes will have a big part of that. If we see the eruption of anything from Mount Hood, Mount Baker, what's the one that we love, Shasta, any of the Rainier, if we see any of those go off, then I would definitely do next step preparations at that point. Yeah, what does that mean? I don't know. Just double check, triple check yourself. Have backups to backups. Because then I think that because that was the signal that Cindy got for the timing of the bigger wars when the volcanoes are going off in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, that was definitely the signal, is to watch those volcanoes, watch that activity, and don't drive yourself crazy trying to get ready. I mean, there's no way anyone, unless you have the money that Gates has or what's his name over there in Hawaii, there's no way we could get ready for every single possibility. So just do what you can and let it go. Just live your life.
Greg says, he's noticed a lot of times when we see heavy aurora presence, flooding occurs. Yeah, I could see that there being a correlation there as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty tough winter. a colossal black hole, 36 billion times the mass of our sun. Well, at least they didn't do 33 billion times.
Right?
but 369, oh, those are magic numbers. It's one of the largest ever seen in the universe. And, the theory that black holes just simply are gateways into perhaps other universes.
Other worlds.
Other worlds for sure, but maybe even a gateway out of the universe into another universe.
Yeah, well, they're connected somehow. I mean, look at our brains. Look at how our brains are connected one to the other, and sometimes they make pathways to another little brain cell. So maybe these black holes are just sort of like brain cells, and they can reach to another so-called brain cell. I mean, as above, so below. We are created to mirror the whole thing that has no name.
And we'll be doing a video, time permitting today, or if not tomorrow, on Heart's Home. That, man, I wish everybody would watch it, because it really explains how everything works, how the multiverse and consciousness works. Again, there's so much hidden in the Sanskrit text, and hidden only because people don't look there. It really, they've by far, the guides have said, when Cindy was channeling the Galactic Federation early on, and she was under full trance channel, Laurel coming through, I asked, what's the closest system on Earth to reality? What system kind of gets it the closest? Because I'm sure nothing is perfectly right. And they said it was the Santana Dharma. So again, it's again the yogic line of thinking, the tradition again that has given us a wealth of amazing info, including the fact that we are in a dream. We are in a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. And again, death is just the doorway to another reality becoming our main reality. Like here, if you're awake 16 hours a day or 18 hours a day, then when you sleep, you're experiencing alternate realities. So, when we pass on, then that becomes the main reality when we step through. But our consciousness exists on many different densities, dimensions. So we truly are, again, multidimensional beings, and the system has kept that hidden from humans because, again, we have nothing to fear from death, yet they tell us, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Well, nothing in my mind could be farther from the truth because, again, fear, there's no love in fear. There is no love in fear. There's control in fear. Ah, yes, absolutely. This is pretty wild. The White House just sent a letter to the Smithsonian Institute notifying them that there will be a comprehensive internal review of the entire operation that's going to include inspection of all their collections. This comes the day after Trump just took federal control of D.C., took control of Metropolitan Police for 30 days, and deployed the National Guard to D.C. The Smithsonian museums have an infamous underground system connecting a vast network of museums underneath the National Mall. Yeah. Well, will somebody do the same to the Vatican? Can somebody do that to the Vatican so we could go and pour through everything the Vatican is hiding away from us? Oh man, yeah. I think that would be a great, an awesome thing for humanity. Why should any group be allowed to hide information from us all? That's beyond me. How do the masses accept this?
I don't know. It's like you can't get down there. You can't go knock on the door and ask, can I go in and read your books? They keep it from us, and they've kept it from us for so long. And now, I mean, realistically speaking, who has the ability to walk away from their job and just march down to the Vatican and read the books? They've isolated us from the truth for so long. It's like now it has this self-adhesive way of protecting itself, because even if you could get to the books, how are you going to read them? Then you have to know how to translate them. It's rough.
as we prepare to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation. Now that's next year, next 4th of July. 1776, 2026. Is there some sort of completion that's scheduled for that point in time? 250 years. Boy, we'll have a lot to talk about, hopefully, in between now and then. Yeah, absolutely. Pluto return, everything. It'll be 4 years plus after the Pluto returns peak energies. These things all take time astrologically. So, yeah, this is really pretty wild. And again, it depends on what they really are going to show with us. By the way, Grok does say there are tunnels beneath the Smithsonian Institution's buildings, primarily used for utility and logistical purposes. But, there's stuff down there, absolutely, just like there is, again, in the Vatican. This article from Popular Mechanics is talking about humans could live for 1,000 years by 2050, ushering in the dawn of practical immortality, futurists say. But what are they selling you on? They're selling you on the merge of humans with technology. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because we are, again, immortal consciousness in the first place. Why do I want to keep the same vehicle? I like to trade in cars every now and then and try out a new vehicle.
Right.
I don't want to be stuck in the same vehicle forever. I have no fear of losing the vehicle. I know I go on. This is where, again, one of the most important things that the system has is its religious institutions. Because, again, if people know that this is just a brief temporary experience that you're having, that you do absolutely continue to go on after the body is not functioning anymore, they can't really control you. They have to have you think that, there's some way to go on, but it's not that it's your inherent given nature. So they can't have you know the way, the universe really is and your true nature. They have to give you something different so they can use the fear to get you to buy into one of their paradigms, which allows them to stay in positions of authority, make the rules, and basically be parasites off of the rest of us.
That's one of their favorite things to do, is that parasitic type of energy. And we come from a symbiotic type of energy. So anything that's not symbiotic, I think there's something wonky there.
25% of UF infants now have zero bifidobacteria, which is a gut microbiome, keystone gut microbiome element critical for healthy development. Its loss triples the risk of allergies, asthma, and eczema in early childhood, driven by pesticides, and everything that the system does to us. So yeah, and what's the one that you make? Cindy has made her own yogurt.
Oh yeah, lactobacilli.
With what's the name of that one? You forget.
The lactobacilla, rhodori.
Rhodori.
Yes,
L-rhodori.
L-rhodori. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We did a video on that on Patreon, how to make that, by the way.
Yeah, because even the positive elements, the probiotics that exist in most yogurts are not maximum strength. They're not completely going to help you rebuild your system if you have to rebuild it after antibiotics. And so, again, anything that comes out of the main companies, all these main companies work together for profits. And, at many levels, it's only really about profits when you really get down to it, and people are waking up to that. So, this is Tanis, and again, we see these sites all around the world, and we wonder, how old are they? Because, again, they'll tell us the pyramids, are only, 3,000 years old, 4,000 years old. Is that really the case? The technology used in some of the constructions, the glyphs, that it's so obvious that we were so much less in the dark in past ages, had a much better picture of how the universe works, but understanding than we have in this dark age. Again, it's all going to be revealed. It's all starting to be revealed now. And as humanity develops their abilities to discern and do things like remote view yourself, then we no longer have to wait to get down into the Vatican in their catacombs to see what's there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You know, I mean, there's just so much information. I don't know. It's sad. They take us at such a young age and teach us what is to be true. And they say that a lot of these things are made with just a chisel and hammer. And then we believe them for so long. And what do we do? Now we're all starting to wake up. And it's like, how do we hold those responsible who made the history books, who wrote the history books? It's like, you guys, didn't you even look at this once? Or, you know, is it completely our fault for, you know, not questioning at the age of kindergarten?
Please do like, share, and subscribe, guys. Help us to reach as many as possible, because we've absolutely been held back by the system. They don't want these insights to be shared by the majority, because, again, it just speeds the collapse of the system. Which is inevitable, but at the same time, they want to make sure they get the most out of their investment, is how they look at it. They look at it like an investment. Looks like there might be some headbutting going on here. Might not be a good idea.
Cutie pants. Cutie pants. So I think, are we going to do dings? Can we do dings now?
Yes.
Okay.
We will do some dings.
All right, you guys know the drill. Think happy thoughts. Thank you for your support, you guys. It helps us bring this information to you. It also feeds us. It feeds the security team. And they're the best security team anybody can get. So hold on for some dings, think happy thoughts, and please drink lots of water for the rest of the day. This is a little bit different. This is going to call the light back into your chakras. So you should have energy, more energy to do things today. Okay, thank you so much. And if you'd like to get an appointment, you can go to Evolutionary Energy Arts and click on the email there and send us something, and we can set you up for an appointment, and we can do that, and you will feel amazing. And Mike has his energy and I have mine, and we put it all in there, and boy, you feel better at the end, I promise.
Absolutely, guys. So catch us again with our brother Arwayne Steiger. It's going to be a real busy day for us, second live here at noon Central. And then we will upload that later on probably EEARTS, probably tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to catch it over here again anyway. But as always, guys, we couldn't do it without you guys. Much love, much gratitude. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.